Hey guys, tonight wander into a world of dust-pink horizons and slow-breathing camels, where gold lies not in glittering coins, but in tiny shimmering grains carried in goatskin pouches. You stand inside a waking desert camp in medieval West Africa, somewhere between savanna and sand, air still cool and sweet like the inside of a clay jar. Braided ropes creak, saddles thud softly, and you breathe in wood smoke and damp leather as dawn unfurls like silk across the dunes. You're not a tourist. There is no souvenir stand, no iced latte waiting, and Wi-Fi has not been invented yet. Instead, you are part of a forgotten gold caravan, and your job is to help it move. You probably won't survive this, to be honest. But before you panic, remember, this is bedtime history, so the danger can stay politely at arm's length while we drift through it like a lazy breeze. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. Tell me where you're tuning in from and what time it is. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You blink against the pale glow as the first sunbeams brush across camel fur. Someone whistles low, another hums a prayer that sounds older than the sand. You adjust a fiber-wrapped bundle, gold dust sealed inside gourds and tiny cloth bags, precious enough to tempt kings and thieves alike. In real history, this gold moved along West African routes tied to empires like Ghana and Mali, powering medieval economies far away in cities you'll never see. Here, though, it just weighs on your shoulder and makes you think about how heavy wealth feels when you're the one carrying it. The camp is quiet in that half-awake way humans have when their day starts before the sun fully decides to show up. A camel looks at you with the expression of someone who has seen every mistake humanity has ever made and refuses to be impressed. You pat its neck like you know what you're doing. It ignores you. Fair. Canvas tents sink into the ground as people roll them. Someone grumbles about sore feet. Someone else adjusts strings of amulets carved from bone and polished seeds. You have one too now, a small talisman threaded with red thread. Traders claim it protects against sand spirits that whisper travelers off course. Historians still argue whether those tales serve to guide novices or simply to remind everyone to respect the desert. Either way, having a charm is comforting, even if it looks suspiciously like something a 5-year-old would make at summer camp. You tie your water gourd, warm already, to your belt. Water is life, and you've learned to sip, not gulp. A seasoned caravan leader once said, "Water is like good gossip. Too much at once, and you regret it. Ration it, and it saves you." Probably the first inspirational desert hydration meme. You hear the soft swish of woven sandals as people shuffle toward the tethered camels. The goal right now is simple. Leave before heat turns the world into a shimmering mirage oven. A donkey brays like it's auditioning for a nightmare comedy. Someone hisses at it. You silently agree. You walk past a bundle of salt slabs. White, rough, heavier than regrets. You'll trade gold for those soon enough, swapping glitter for survival. Salt, after all, isn't seasoning here. It's currency, medicine, and the difference between thriving and shriveling into a very crunchy mummy. Fringe fact: some traders rub crocodile dung paste on their skin as desert sunscreen. You haven't seen it used yet, but the jar is there, and you're trying not to make eye contact with it. A call rings out, low, steady, rhythmic. Not music, not exactly. More like a reminder to breathe with the desert instead of fighting it. You step into the procession forming like a slow river of cloth and fur. The caravan stretches long and purposeful, like a ribbon drawn across sand. Dust lifts in delicate puffs beneath your feet. You feel the weight of the gourd bouncing at your waist, the rope over your shoulder, the faint cling of last night's smoke in your clothes. The camp behind you becomes a memory almost immediately. Campfires smothered, footprint trails erased by the first lazy breeze. You move forward. As the sun climbs, color bleeds into the land. Ochre, honey, rose. You can almost hear the dunes sighing awake. Someone beside you murmurs a line from a prayer. May the sand remember mercy. You answer it silently, not because you fully understand, but because a little extra blessing seems helpful when your commute involves scorpions, dehydration, and occasional very opinionated camels. A boy runs ahead to chase a stray goat. You watch him kick up sand and think of how childhood looks different in every age, but joy runs in the same shape everywhere, bare feet and breathless laughter echoing across morning air. A woman beside you adjusts her head wrap, its indigo dye faintly chalking her skin. Indigo stains everything. If your hands aren't blue by now, you haven't really lived this life. You catch the scent of dried dates in someone's pouch. Breakfast was millet gruel, thick and warm, eaten while sitting on rolled mats. Simple, steady fuel. You did not get coffee. You miss coffee. You're trying not to think about coffee. Okay, now you're definitely thinking about coffee. The caravan pauses briefly at a shallow depression. Yesterday's water hole, now a muddy whisper. You don't stop long. Water holes are magnets for animals and mosquitoes, and frankly, you would rather not become a snack or a science experiment. As you march, you hear traders discussing distant places, Timbuktu, Kumbi Sala, cities with libraries, palaces, scholars who debate mathematics and astronomy under cool colonnades. It feels impossible that somewhere out there, cloaked in architectural grace, someone is writing poetry while you're making sure your camel doesn't sit down on your foot. Still, that contrast makes you smile. Civilization comes in many forms, and right now, your form is dusty perseverance. A breeze lifts. Sand brushes your ankles. You adjust cloth over your nose and mouth, breathing slow. Every sound softens. Bells on camel necks, soft chanting, feet brushing soil. Travel isn't drama here. It's rhythm, patience, tiny victories like not tripping in front of everybody. You reach a ridge where scrub trees huddle in stubborn green clusters. They look like plants auditioning for hope. A bird calls, sharp, lonely, beautiful. You listen, wishing it wouldn't remind you how far from comfort you are, but also feeling strangely peaceful. Out here, you move at human speed, which is slow, thoughtful, intentional. Your phone can't distract you. There is only sky, sand, and the quiet tug of future miles. You pause, look back. The camp is gone. Ahead lies silence, shimmering and ancient, waiting for the sound of your footsteps. You follow the caravan into the full breath of morning, and the world stretches into a saffron-colored expanse where dunes roll like sleeping lions. The air warms slowly, like someone sliding a blanket fresh from the hearth over your shoulders, but a blanket you didn't exactly ask for. By the time you finish that thought, you realize sweat is already pooling along your spine. Welcome to another ordinary day in a medieval West African gold caravan. A gentle walk punctuated by the slow realization that the sun is basically auditioning for the role of a vengeful oven god. Your sandals scrape over packed sand, then loosen into deeper grains that swallow your steps. Camels grunt. A few traders click their tongues in steady rhythms, signals only camels truly understand, though you confidently imitate them anyway. Your camel glances back, unimpressed. Ancient wisdom flows through its long lashes. You, meanwhile, are doing an excellent impression of a confused raisin in training. Out here, the land shifts from gentle scrub to pure sand sea. Sometimes you glimpse tufts of thorny acacia, stubborn plants clutching life like a merchant clutching his accounting tablets. Other times, nothing. Just soft wind brushing ripples in the dunes where heat dances like ghosts rehearsing elegant choreography. In real history, caravans crossed this region for centuries, linking gold fields south of the Sahara with northern markets in Morocco and the Mediterranean. That trade helped shape powerful empires and rich learning centers. But right now, all it's shaping is your posture, which is becoming very camel adjacent. Someone ahead mutters about sand spirits again. Those whispering voices traders swear they hear when heat and wind twist together. Are they illusions? Warnings? Historians still argue whether such stories were survival psychology or genuine belief. Either way, nobody mocks them aloud, and you don't either. Better to respect ancient desert PR. Your head wrap grows damp. You shift the cloth to shade your eyes. The sunlight is so bright it feels like it's trying to turn you into a moral lesson about hydration. If you were a painting, you'd be titled Person Slowly Becoming a Puddle with Camel. In the distance, the dunes shimmer like molten bronze. Mirage, you remind yourself. The desert loves mirages the way modern people love limited edition sneakers. Dramatic, fleeting, and occasionally leading to unwise decisions. You pass a bleached animal skull half buried in sand. It's probably from a goat or gazelle, but your brain decides it definitely belonged to a legendary desert monster. You look away quickly. A trader near you mutters a blessing and taps his amulet twice. You copy him. Better safe than sorry. Also, amulet tapping feels satisfying. Your gourd bumps gently at your hip, reminding you of your most important task, not drinking too fast. Water discipline is life discipline, the elders say. You sip once, slow and reverent, like you're savoring a rare vintage. It tastes warm and faintly earthy, nature's tea, but less comforting and with zero caffeine to bribe you into forgiving it. A group of younger travelers laugh quietly, taking turns inventing glamorous stories about city markets. Silk merchants with peacock feathers in their hats. Scholars debating under colonnades. Dates stuffed with honey and spices. One girl claims she saw a man so wealthy his robe shimmered like sunlit river water. You don't know if she's exaggerating, but it's fun to imagine. Daydreaming is the caravan's version of cable TV. Camels pad onward, their humps rocking slowly. Their feet spread over sand like soft paddles, proof that nature is better than any desert footwear influencer. A young camel tries to nibble a thorn bush, fails, and gives up with dramatic resignation. You relate deeply. Heat climbs. The sun reaches its confident, smug noon posture. It doesn't burn yet. It presses. A heavy hand on your back, urging you downward. Shade becomes a currency rarer than gold. Your breathing finds rhythm with the bells tied to camel necks. Soft, hypnotic, like wind chimes made by someone who only uses natural materials and feelings. Someone passes you a small clay bead soaked in perfumed oil. You rub it along your neck. Coolness blooms briefly, scent rising like a field after rain, though it fades fast. Fringe fact time. Some caravanners swear that hyenas can guide lost travelers if treated kindly. You haven't seen a hyena yet, and honestly, you're not sure if you trust one. Hyenas have that, I know what you did last drought season energy. The caravan pauses at a dry wadi, a shallow valley that occasionally funnels water. Today it funnels nothing but silence. You sit on a worn leather mat, grateful for even a moment off your feet. You stretch your toes like a cat, except less graceful and more prehistoric creature discovering it has toes. Someone hands you a handful of roasted groundnuts. They taste perfect, earthy, salty, and crunchy enough to remind you that life still contains joys. A trader across from you rolls prayer beads and hums softly. Another checks camel hooves for thorns. Two boys play a clapping game you faintly recognize from playgrounds centuries later. Human childhood is timeless, apparently powered by rhythm and giggles rather than battery packs. The guide, a lean man with sun-etched lines on his face, scans the horizon. Not for bandits. Not here, not yet, but for wind and weather. He claims he can read desert breeze like scholars read manuscripts. Could be true, could be legendary marketing. Either way, you trust him more than your own ability to spot anything besides sand and slightly taller sand. When the caravan moves again, you feel muscles complain. They expected lunch. Instead, they get momentum, the universal desert meal. Dunes grow steeper, and you lean forward, pushing with steady breath. Sand slips. The world feels like an endless treadmill invented by someone who hates joy. You place one foot, then another. Rhythm. Patience. A tiny lizard scurries past like it has urgent business. You admire its hustle. You'd hire it as your motivational coach if it weren't the size of your thumb. Wind picks up. Sand sprays lightly, peppering your cheeks. You tighten your wrap and bow your head. For a moment, sound disappears. The world becomes a muted blur, vision filtered through cloth and light and grit. It's strangely peaceful, like the desert is whispering directly into your bones. You wonder how many feet crossed this land before you. Merchants, pilgrims, messengers, dreamers. Gold dust, salt slabs, stories carried like prayers. When the wind eases, you lift your head again. Dunes stretch forward, endless as memory. The guide lifts a hand, and the caravan slows, then stops. Shade time. Just a brief rest, huddled behind the lee of a dune where the wind softens and sand feels cooler. You settle onto your mat again, breathing deep. Someone jokes that the desert invented spa exfoliation, and everyone laughs too tiredly but gratefully. You run sand through your fingers. It slips like silk. Soft, ancient, patient. A reminder that your journey is small, your life brief, but your footprints join a trail older than kings. You rest. The world hums. Somewhere, a camel burps with dramatic enthusiasm. You pretend it was poetic. When the caravan rises again, the sand has shifted into flatter plains, where thorn trees and stony earth peek through like old memories surfacing. You brush grains from your sleeves. Pointless, but comforting. The afternoon sun softens just a little, becoming something you can negotiate with instead of a tyrant. A trader ahead hums a gentle rhythm, and you fall in step, feet tapping a heartbeat older than borders and maps. Soon, faint sound lifts on the breeze, drums. Low, patient, rolling like distant thunder that forgot how to be threatening. Your pulse jumps a little. The settlement is near. Not a city with towering gates, just a Sahel trade stop. Clustered mud brick homes, reed roofs, smoke curling in lazy strokes, and a small market that knows exactly how important your caravan's gold dust is. And you know how important their salt is in return. The desert trades life for life, nothing less. The first figures appear, children first, because children are faster than announcements. They run across hard earth, kicking dust, shouting greetings that spill like laughter. One tiny girl waves a palm fan at you in dramatic welcome, then trips adorably over her own joy. Even the camels seem amused. One makes a sound that could almost be a chuckle or indigestion. Hard to tell with camels. As you approach, scent washes over you. Wood smoke, millet porridge simmering, and something sweet. Perhaps baobab fruit pulp thickened with honey. You remember the gritty desert air of the morning, and suddenly your stomach wakes like a polite but insistent noble who demands refreshment. You've earned it. Villagers greet caravan leaders with clasped hands and respectful bows. News travels here faster than caravans. Everyone knows the gold is coming long before they see it. This region, once part of the Ghana and later Mali trading networks, tied savanna and desert in invisible threads of commerce. That reality feels very far away from the soft grin of a boy offering you a gourd of cool water. You take a careful sip, cool, clay-filtered, a quiet miracle. You don't cry, but you consider it. The market unfolds like a murmured prayer. Woven mats lay across earth, displaying salt slabs gleaming like pale stone, bundles of rich red kola nuts, carved wooden combs, copper trinkets that catch light like coins of fire. A woman fans flies away from smoked fish while maintaining a look that clearly says she has no time for foolishness. Not today, not ever. You respect her deeply. You join the traders as they move toward a shaded area where negotiations happen. No shouting, no dramatic gestures. Just calm voices, measured patience, and the soft clink of tiny brass scales. Gold dust is brought out, sealed gourds opened with reverence. You've carried these grains for days, every step humming with risk, and now they land like tiny suns in shallow bowls. The salt merchant's eyes gleam, but politely. Wealth is heavy here. It must be lifted carefully. Your task is simple. Stand still, look serious, pretend you understand the conversion ratios. A goat bleats very loudly behind you. You try not to laugh. A trader clears his throat in that universal sound, meaning we are doing serious business here. You compose yourself, though the goat continues its performance like it thinks it's auditioning for desert opera. Talk shifts from waits to stories. Caravan elders exchange news, distant rains, a scholar traveling north, a rumor of a new market road. You pick up a fringe tidbit. Someone swears that a wandering mystic once turned a handful of salt into a basket of dates simply by sneezing on it. You nod respectfully because honestly, who are you to dispute sneeze-based miracles? You wander briefly, letting your feet stretch on solid ground. Children play a chasing game around piles of millet sacks. Two women pound grain in tall wooden mortars, their pestles rising and falling in hypnotic unity, rhythm so steady it could put you to sleep. One notices you watching and smiles with that expression meaning yes, our arms are stronger than yours, and yes, we could outrun you too. You smile back humbly. A group gathers under a bent acacia tree. Someone begins to recite a story. Ancestors, hunters, lions who spoke in riddles. The crowd leans in. Storytelling is currency just as real as salt, just as powerful as gold. You listen, letting words paint nights thick with starlight and danger. Historians still argue whether griots in this period traveled alongside caravans or mainly served royal courts. But here, tonight, music and memory walk hand in hand. Someone offers you a calabash bowl filled with millet couscous and groundnut sauce. It tastes smoky, nutty, warm. A dried fish flake rests on top for flavor. Small, salty, precious. You eat slowly, grateful. Food in the desert isn't just fuel. It's trust, hospitality, and proof you're still alive. Nearby, merchants discuss salt slabs towering as tall as a person deep in the Tadini mines. You remember earlier, salt isn't luxury, it's survival. Sweating travelers need it. Trade routes exist for it. Even armies crave it. Somewhere, a camel inhales sharply, perhaps offended that you're thinking about salt instead of admiring its elegant profile. You pat its flank, reassuring it that yes, it remains majestic. A breeze shifts, carrying music, balafon notes chiming, hand drums pulsing low like heartbeats. You sway unconsciously, shoulders softening, tension sliding away like water off polished clay. Your tired legs thank you. Your mind floats. For a moment, you consider staying here forever, living on millet bowls and stories. The caravan life is exciting, but markets are soothing. They have shade, and people who don't walk 12 hours a day just to say hello. Your break ends with a gentle call. Traders gather again, adjusting belts, checking ropes, nodding thanks. You refill your water gourd, just enough, never too much. A villager presses a dried date into your palm with a smile. You tuck it away like treasure. The sun dips lower, heat loosening its grip. Camels rise with heavy sighs. The universal sound for, was this rest even long enough? As you step away, you hear laughter, drums, and distant pounding grain. Smoke rises, curling skyward like a farewell gesture. Small hands wave. You wave back, promising silently to remember the taste of cool water and the comfort of shade. Salt slabs now rest among your goods. White, angular, weighty. Gold has become grit and necessity. You walk again, sand soft beneath your feet, and the settlement shrinks behind you until it becomes another warm memory dissolving into the horizon. The caravan stretches forward, bells chiming in lazy rhythm. The world becomes sand again, but your heart carries the echo of drums, the scent of honey fruit, and the hush of scales measuring wealth grain by grain. Your day continues, not with drama, but with quiet certainty. The desert rewards patience, and your journey has only just begun to deepen. Evening slides across the sky not like a curtain falling, but like warm dye seeping through cloth, slow, deepening, unstoppable. The sun is still up, yes, but lower now, gentler, like it has remembered mercy at last. Your feet ache with the stubborn loyalty of limbs that have decided they will indeed continue serving you, but only if you agree to complain quietly about it every few minutes. Fine deal. The dunes ahead rise taller than before, pale gold giants stacked in soft humps. The guide lifts his hand, and the caravan tightens formation. You feel the shift, like a flock drawing its wings inward. Rumor has it this stretch sometimes shelters raiders, desert bandits who learned long ago that gold caravans move slowly and carry fortunes. Historians still argue whether such bandits operated in formal groups or loose, shifting alliances, but honestly, right now you'd prefer zero alliances, loose or otherwise. Your amulet feels suddenly heavier, an object you previously treated like handcrafted fashion, but now regard as a vital anti-bandit security system powered by faith and wishful thinking. Night travel is safer for the camels, cooler for your skin, and harder on your imagination. Shadows stretch long, turning scrub bushes into hunched creatures and rocks into resting predators. Walk steady, you tell yourself. If something were stalking you, the scouts would signal. You glance at the scouts, calm, alert, moving with silent certainty. Okay, good. If they panic, then you can panic. Until then, you practice serenity like an amateur monk. The wind picks up, whisking sand across your ankles. Grains skitter like tiny drums, whispering secrets. Wind in the desert has a personality. Mischievous, ancient, slightly rude, but never boring. It tugs your head wrap, nibbles your sleeves, and flings dust like nature's confetti, celebrating who knows what. Maybe it just likes dramatic entrances. A faint silhouette appears ahead, just a rise of land, nothing alarming. But your heart jumps anyway. The guide signals again, and the front riders split outwards, scouting flanks with quiet precision. You keep moving, not stopping to watch, because staring at danger makes it feel invited. Instead, you listen. Bells on camel necks chime soft, soothing notes. Breath flows. Sand crunches. A single camel burps, shattering tension like an unexpected phone ringtone in a movie theater. You silently thank the camel for its comedic timing. The scouts return. No threats, only wind-carved stone and dry scrub. Relief eases shoulders. You feel muscles unclench, like a tight, not finally loosened. Bandits avoided, at least for now. You allow yourself a very tiny internal victory dance. Dark deepens. The sky fades to indigo, then velvet, then star-stitched wonder. Stars burst overhead like someone scattered diamonds across silk. If you were poetic, you'd say they look like distant campfires of travelers walking the sky. If you were tired, which you are, you'd say they look like twinkly reassurance that the universe has good lighting design. A soft hum rises, someone chanting a verse meant for safe passage. Another joins. Soon the caravan breathes with song, voices layered like woven cloth. In real history, travelers often recited prayers or poems during long marches, rhythm easing effort. You hum too, because why not? It feels like a lullaby wrapped around exhaustion. Walking at night transforms sound. A distant thrum could be wind or hooves. A rustle might be a lizard or something with bigger teeth. Fringe belief says that night spirits in the dunes can mimic footsteps to lure wanderers off course. You don't believe it, of course, except that you absolutely do right now. A camel snorts, and you nearly leap into someone's arms like a startled house cat. You recover your dignity by pretending you were stretching. Eventually, the guide calls a halt. A low hollow between dunes, sheltered from wind. Camp. Relief washes through everyone like warm broth through an empty stomach. Mats unroll. Tents pop up like sleepy mushrooms. You rub your calves, wincing. Your legs feel like noodles. Slightly judgmental noodles, but noodles nonetheless. Tonight's meal is simple but heavenly. Sorghum porridge thickened with bits of dried okra, a pinch of salt, and a smear of tamarind paste. You savor each spoonful, the way a traveler treasures every bit of shade. A trader shares a curious snack, dried locust seasoned with spice. Crunchy, unexpectedly good. If someone offered you a bag to go, you'd probably accept, and then Google Translate your feelings later if the internet existed. You sip warm herbal drink from a small cup, something mint-adjacent but wilder, sharper, like the plant decided it wanted to be refreshing and intimidating simultaneously. You exhale. Your bones hum with tiredness. Even your eyelashes feel sleepy. By the fireside, elders discuss routes, wells, and rumors. One claims a caravan last year evaded raiders by pretending to be plague-stricken. Another insists raiders respected caravans carrying scholars, believing to rob wisdom was to curse your lineage. Truth? Tall tale? Hard to know. Scholars debate how protected caravans truly were, whether politics shielded them or danger was constant. For you, danger feels like a quiet neighbor you hope won't knock. Someone pulls out a charm, an ostrich eggshell bead necklace. You hear that ostrich eggs, when buried and cracked just right, once served as hidden water caches in the desert. Ingenious, if true. You nod as though you've always known this. Inside your head, you're thinking, eggs as water bottles? Nature really is the original engineer. Sleep tugs. But first, night watch. Everyone takes turns. Your shift isn't now. Thank every benevolent desert deity, but you sit for a bit anyway, staring at the horizon, pretending to be vigilant. A small fox darts by, tail fluffy, eyes bright. It pauses, stares like it's judging your posture, then trots off. You consider following it. It looks like it knows all life hacks, but instead you lie back, trusting the watchers, the stars, and your extremely overconfident amulet. The sand is cool beneath you, like silk chilled by moonlight. The fire crackles. Camels groan in low, sleepy bass notes. A young trader beside you snores so gently it sounds like wind flirting with reeds. You close your eyes and realize the desert at night doesn't just threaten, it soothes. Soft air, soft sky, soft breathing. You drift on that softness, letting worry melt away like butter in sun. Your last thoughts before sleep are simple. Feet hurt, stars pretty, life strange and good. Somewhere, a drumbeat echoes faint from miles away. Another caravan, another story. The desert is full of them, endless threads weaving across centuries. Your amulet rests on your chest. You touch it once, feeling warmth from the fire and from your own heartbeat. It doesn't guarantee safety, but it gives you peace. And sometimes peace is the most powerful shield a traveler can carry. Breath slows. Sand sighs. The caravan sleeps under a blanket of stars, and the night keeps watch. And so, the desert exhales again. A warm sigh of sand and sun and silence. You feel it as you step once more among the camels, their long lashes blinking slowly, as though even they are reluctant to leave the cool hush of morning behind. You check the bundles, salt glimmering like pale moonlight, tied tight with leather cords. Water skins, dust-stained. A pouch of gold dust, lighter now, meaning deals were fair and the journey worth it. A faint breeze brushes your face, carrying the smell of acacia and distant fire smoke from the oasis behind you. A place of laughter, bargaining, songs that rise like birds at dusk. A place you will remember long after the dunes shift and swallow your footprints. But a caravan never stays still too long. You lift the rope gently, and your camel rises with a soft groan, kneeling sand trailing like silk from its calloused knees. Beside you, merchants stretch and murmur prayers, low, melodic, grateful. Somewhere, a child giggles as a goat steals a fig from a basket. Life, in the middle of nowhere. Slow, precious, quiet. As you begin walking again, the sand crunches softly beneath your sandals, as though the earth is whispering secrets only travelers hear. Dolomite dust floats golden in the early light, and the dunes roll like sleeping lions all around you. Your pace is unhurried. There is no rush in the desert, only rhythm, breath, footsteps, camel bells, clinking like distant wind chimes. This is an old road, older than empires, older than maps, a thread woven through time, held not by stone or law, but memory and need. Salt for gold, life for life. You pass a weather-worn marker, a simple wooden pole festooned with prayer scraps, fluttering like faded butterflies. A reminder to honor spirits of the journey. You pause, touch the wood with your fingertips, and bow your head. Not out of fear, but out of tenderness for those who walked this path before you. Kings and caravans of 1,000 beasts. Lonely wanderers with only one. Traders, pilgrims, poets. Dreamers and exiles. People like you, tracing hope across the sand. And just as you take your first steps beyond it, the world ahead shimmers. Not heat, not illusion, but possibility. The desert, endless and ancient, opening like a hand, welcoming you further into its sleepy, sun-soft mystery. You keep moving, steady and calm, a quiet traveler in a land that teaches patience, humility, and the beauty of going slowly, always slowly, for in the desert, nothing that hurries survives long, and everything soft endures. Breathe in, warm sand, breathe out, stillness.